Hello, Flight Simmers, and welcome back to the Flight Line. It's me, Neil, and I'm back at Barton Airport in Manchester. And today we're going to do something slightly different. So we've done a lot of flights from Barton, VFR, and at the moment I'm hoping, in time, that the Orbex are going to port their fantastic Barton scenery from X-Plane here into Flight Simulator. I'm sure it will come eventually, but for now it isn't on its way. So I decided, due to Orbex releasing their fantastic Wycombe Air Park scenery, that I would relocate for a little bit. So I'm going to relocate from Barton down to Wycombe Air Park, and we're going to be doing some flights out from Wycombe Air Park, which is a very interesting area of the world because, well, here it's been quite interesting here at Barton because we're very close to Manchester controlled airspace, and we've had to use the low-level route, which we will use today, to get past the controlled airspace between Manchester and Liverpool. Down at Wycombe, we're going to be right next to London controlled airspace and Heathrow and all of those big airports. So we're going to do some flights in and around London controlled airspace and out to the south coast of the United Kingdom. So lots of good opportunities there for some nice flights to some nice airports. We're going to start today by relocating ourselves from Barton to Wycombe, and I thought what better for that reasonably lengthy flight. It's going to take us about 51 minutes today with current weather, than to use the SR22. So it's a much faster aircraft than the Cessnas that we've been doing. It's a top speed of 150 knots. We're going to be flying out from Barton to the Manchester low level, and then from there climbing to 5,000 feet for the cruise down to Wycombe, and we won't have to come down from 5,000 until we get to Wycombe. Not many problems. We can navigate our way through the airspace. As usual, I will pop up the Sky Demon route as we go, so you can see how we're navigating through the airspace here. No warnings on Sky Demon, so we're good to go. The weather's not been great this morning, so it was not visual, both at departure and arrival, first thing this morning, but it's now cleared up. Waited an hour or so, hour or two, and it's now cleared up and we're good to go. So I'm going to jump into the cockpit, and here we are in the cockpit. We're good for fuel. I've already set that. We've got 40 US gallons, which is roughly equivalent to 150 litres. Which is going to give us 2 hours of en route airtime here in the SR22. So we're going to get the aircraft started up, and then we're going to connect ourselves up to VATSIM and fly down. So for my first time really properly flying the SR22, I had a little go the other night, but I'm going to have a look here. We don't need to do all of the external checks. We'll say they are done. So we're going to look at what have we got here. We'll need some power. So battery master 1 on, battery master 2 on. So mixture rich. We've got that. Power forward. And we need to prime 8 bumps. So where is the prime? Let's find that. Okay, so now I don't know where the prime... Oh, here we are. What's this? Boost, prime, 1. Okay, it didn't look like it had bumps there, so we'll take that as we've done our priming. Power closed. We're on the left fuel tank to start with. And we need to do power to a quarter. If hot, I'll do it a little bit, which is not really that hot. Brakes hold. We have the parking brake set. And ignition to start. And power to 1000 RPM. We can see here if we go in there, we are pretty much on 1000 RPM. That'll do for me. Click caution there. and when we'll get all of the other equipments on. So alternators, avionics on. We don't need any de-ice. Yeah, so that's good. Now we've got a basic route put in the GPS as usual. I've just popped in the airfields that we go over, but we will be flying mostly VFR and using Sky Demon as our reference point. Probably going to use the autopilot once we get going, so I'm going to put 5,000 if I can. No, I can't. Here we are. Put 5,000 in there now, so I remember that's where we're going to. But we'll deal with that as and when. So we need the QNH. Let's just get the Manchester 80s on here. So QNH is 1018. Let's just go in here and set that. 1018 15 018, which is about 30.12. So we'll just go up here, we'll change this. I don't think it should be 150 feet. Not sure Barton is. Let's have a look. Airfield for Barton 1019 is what they're giving us, which is pretty much the same. Threshold is QFE 1009. That's for Manchester. We'll go with that. We've got 7,000 set and standby. Let's go into the transponder and let's just change it to Alt. So that's good for us. Gonna put the FMS on the CDI, then we've got that there. And just gonna check what comm frequencies we've got. So we should have 118.575. Where's the comm? There we go. 118. 575. We're going to just switch across, and I'm going to put 121.8 in the box. For Unicom, and we'll switch back. So we're on Unicom to start, 121.8 with squawking mode C. And just sit ourselves up a tiny bit. So here we go. SR22. Just check our ailerons. And can we see out the back? Yeah, we can. It's looking good. And can we see the rudder? Yeah, that's good. I like it when I can see all the stuff. So we'll pop our... We haven't got any taxi lights here, by the looks of it. We'll just pop the landing lights on. No, we probably shouldn't do that. Let's pop them off till we get to the runway. And checklist, seatbelt secure, cabin heat is on defrost, we don't need it, lights as required, brakes we'll check as we go, and then we've got the run up check to do next. And I'm just going to double check which runway we are on here at Barton. Windy, so we're going to take off from, I think we could do 26 left on the basis that there's nobody else around. So, Barton traffic, Golf Foxtrot November Romeo Hotel is taxiing for takeoff, runway 26 left. Okay, ready to go. Let's go. Parking brake off. And yes, we have the silly situation with the fuel bunker again. So it's not a great view out of the Cirrus here with the post. Bit of an uphill taxi now. And I need to move my rudder pedals because I'm getting... So yeah, we're on the hill. It's completely stuck. I'm just going to turn towards the wind here. Okay, so we're holding it on the toe brakes. And we're going to increase the throttle to 2000 RPM. And we're just going to check the magnetos. There's a drop and a rise and a drop and a rise, and we've got both. (1700 RPM), and we'll just check oil fuel is good, fuel flow is good, oil pressure is good, batteries and buses look good. Okay, we're just going to taxi off. Flaps for takeoff. What I am going to do today is I'm just going to move the might move this over to this side for today because it's going to be less obstructing in our view. Barton traffic, Golf Romeo Hotel, takeoff, runway 26 left. And we're off, let's go. $70 knots. So you get a good rate of climb in the 90 knots, flaps up. The old SR22. So our initial climb is to 1500 feet, well 1000 feet, so that's 500 feet, and we're going to turn to the left. We're just going to turn here to follow the river. And then we're gonna level out at 1,100 feet here for now. Just going to trim it out, and we're going to switch to EGCC South approach, and we're going to put in a squawk code of arm descending. That's not the squawk code. Transponder code 7. I think it's 7366. I wrote it down. 7366. And we're going to just switch our radios over. Okay, we're on our way, so we are now on our way from Barton to the Manchester low level route. We have departed the Barton area. We're a little low, so we're just going to try and increase our height here. We need to be at 1,100 feet. Heading towards our first reporting point, which is M56 junction 10, I think. But basically we'll be crossing the M56 here, and we'll be looking on our left for this, which is the disused airfield at Streatham. So just crossing the M56 now. Just gone past Streatham disused airfield, it's just there, we can see it behind us. We're going to make a turn now to 171 degrees. Going to sync the heading up there so I know where I'm going. A little bit off. I have to make sure I don't go too much.
Friendly uniform, leaving my sector now, unfortunately monitor Unicom 122 decimal 8 to go.
228, shuttle 3 uniform today.
So that's we're nicely trimmed out now in the and we're following pretty much the correct path. We have to just stay from going too much to the left, because if we go too much to the left then we're into Manchester controlled airspace, which we don't want to do. So we just ever so slightly staying to the right of that. Yeah, don't need to go in there. And we're going to be looking for Winsford Flash. Winsford Flash is our next visual reference point, and that will mark the end of the Manchester low level route. First thing I've noticed straight away about the flying the SR22 is it's much more powerful and fast than any of the Cessnas that we've been flying. I mean, I knew that this was the case. It's not like it's a surprise. But yeah, getting away from Barton there, it shot up in speed very quickly. And we're already doing 160 knots here in the low level route. Need to just make sure we climb and not descend, because we've just started to descend there and we don't want to be down here. We want to be up at 1100 feet, so I'm just going to make a quick climb. We've got plenty of power, so it's okay if we lose a little bit of speed in this very quick climb. Just going to see what else is online in terms of yeah, so we won't have any further air traffic control once we leave Manchester area, so we'll just go back to Squawking 7000, and we should be coming to Winsford Flash. You can just see it ahead there, and we're going to turn to 160 degrees, and shortly we'll be able to start our climb, steps climb up to 5,000 feet, initially to 2,000 feet. So overhead Winsford Flash now. Our next reporting point is Crewe, at which point we can climb to 3,000 feet. Now we can climb to 2,000, so I'm just going to begin a climb to 2,000 feet now. I'm enjoying flying the SR22. It's a nice plane to fly. Feels positive when it does something, it feels powerful when it climbs. And so we're arriving at 2,000 feet, just going to drop the power again. To keep the nose up there. Trim it out here at 2,000 feet. It's about right. Our RPM at 2,500. Just climbing a little bit there, so we'll just drop down. And we're on track. We're just passing Crewe now, so we're going to make a further climb now to 3,000 feet. And we should get a good rate of climb here. And I think we can possibly continue up to 5,000 feet we keep ourselves on a steady climb here, 5 degrees nose up pitch. Just need to reduce our rate of climb ever so slightly. Level off at 3,000 because otherwise our next restriction is 4,500 feet above, and we keep climbing at this rate, we've got a chance of breaking that restriction. So what I'm going to do now that we're above 3,000 feet and we're climbing on a reasonably good profile, I'm going to go down and I'm going to pop the autopilot on.
Engaging autopilot.
And the flight director. And I'm going to choose heading select. And I'm going to choose vertical speed mode. And I'm just going to adjust our vertical speed to a slow climb, and we've got 5,000 feet set. Just making sure that I stay on a profile. We can go a little bit faster up than that. 500 feet per minute. And we just need to adjust our heading. 174. Heading 174. Now we're climbing through to 500 feet, 5,000 feet. Keep the landing lights off. I'm going to keep the nav and strobe on. So we're out of Manchester control zone now. Make a slight course deviation to keep on our track. I'm going to go to 77. We're climbing nicely. I'm going to just change over the back to 1.8 and we'll go back to VFR on our VFR. It's not 1200, we need to change that, we're not in America. 7,000 and ident, back, and we're back on Unicom because there is no air traffic control at this point for our flight today. So we're climbing 500 feet per minute at 155 knots, that's quite incredible, and we're shortly going to arrive at our cruise altitude, and we'll adjust our power then to maintain an airspeed of about 155 knots. Let's have a look what we can see out of the window. Well, we can see the wing and some of the English countryside. And if it works correctly, because there are some problems with the autopilots at the moment in these FS2020 aircraft, it should automatically capture the 5,000 feet rather, that I have set. There we go, it's flashing, so that should mean that it's been captured. So we'll just monitor this now to make sure that it captures correctly. So it is capturing 5,000 feet altitude as it comes up here. And we're going to just start to bring the power back so that we maintain 150-155 knots. And we don't overspeed the aircraft at all. So I'm going to go back to 2,500 RPM and then we'll see what that gives us. I'm looking for 150, 155 knots. So that's quite good, 152 knots there. Our next reporting point, our next main reporting point is RAF Cosford. We're just passing over an interim point here that I've just put in purely for managing altitude. We should be passing over a lake. Of course we can't see it because it's outside. So our next bit of routing takes us overhead RAF Cosford at 5,000 feet, and then from there we'll be turning to the left, and we'll be following 150 degrees, and it's about 10 minutes, and that's going to take us down the side of the Birmingham control zone to Studley, and then from there down, pretty much straight down towards Oxford, and a small turn to the left then to come down to Wycombe. So we've got 200 and we'll have a little zoom in here. We've got 2,500 RPM, power set at 70%. Our fuel flow 15 gallons per hour, is in the green. Oil is 191, our oil pressure is just in the green there. Batteries are good. Our engine exhaust gas temperature is 1056. And then on the instruments here, 151 knots. We've got 4,970 feet, 5,000, it'll vary a little bit as we go. And we're just currently almost intercepting the GPS route that we had in a case of emergency. So that means we're coming towards Cosford, and then we'll be making a turn to the right to 150 degrees. Look at the log, you can see we're at Cosford and our next point is Studley. We've got approximately 30 minutes to run on the route down to Wycombe. So I'm going to just adjust our heading now to 150 degrees as we pass overhead Cosford. I went a bit far there. And the autopilot makes the turn. With a bit of cabin air on. And we're a little bit to the left of track, so I'm just going to correct that because we have to make sure that we stay out of the Birmingham Airport control zone. Now unfortunately today there's nobody on Birmingham approach in VATSIM, so we don't need to monitor that, otherwise we would now monitor Birmingham approach, Birmingham radar, and we would put in a listening squawk for that monitoring. So what have we got off to? Is that Wolverhampton racecourse there? I think that is the case. That is Wolverhampton Racecourse. Off to our left, well that's good. It's a good visual reference point. We can make sure that we are definitely going the right way by notifying that we've seen that there. It's going to turn back to 150 knots or so, 150 degrees to get back on our correct track. We've got currently we've got an indicated airspeed of 152 knots. We have a slight tailwind, so we have a true airspeed of 163 knots and a ground speed of 170 knots. So that's fantastic. Get us there nice and quickly. So we're now transiting. Well, transiting's the wrong word because that would imply we were going through the airport controlled airspace. So we're now running alongside the controlled airspace. We'll pass through here. We might be able to see Dudley Castle, and we'll pass over Hales Owen, and we might be able to see the Franklin Reservoirs on the left, and we'll eventually pass over the M42 and Redditch and down towards Oxford. So I can't see Dudley Castle. Should be just out this way, but then of course, as we've seen already, that some of the things are not particularly well modelled here in Flight Simulator, certainly in the UK. They don't necessarily look exactly like they're supposed to. So it could kind of be anything over there. Not much chance of finding it. So everything's looking good. T's and P's are in the green. So this should be the town of Hales Owen, just on our left hand side, and that should be the Franklin Reservoir, I think, which is a visual reporting point for Birmingham. Should also be a castle apparently just near that, but again we may not be able to see anything that looks remotely like a castle. So we should be passing over the M5 motorway shortly. This will probably be the M5 here below us. So that's another good visual reference. We can see we're in the right place. And then we should be passing over the M42. Which should be just a little bit further ahead. And again, passing over both of those at the right time will be confirmation that we are again on the right track. as we are flying visually, and then therefore we shouldn't entirely be relying on GPS and instruments to tell us where we are. We need visual, we need to be in contact with the ground, and we need visual reference points to show us that our navigation is correct. It's turned out to be a beautiful day today after the mist this morning. I did consider doing this flight as an IFR VFR mixed flight, so taking off from Barton VFR and then transitioning to an IFR flight plan 8,500 feet and then coming back to VFR to land at Wycombe, but I hung on for a couple of hours and the weather's cleared up, so that's good. And here's the M42, yep, right on cue, there it goes. So that's going off basically the way that we're going. It's going down towards Oxford and then on to London, but we aren't going to follow that. That'll take us into controlled airspace. We're going to just continue down the side here to Studley, and then from Studley down towards Home Farm Fields. And then we'll turn to the left and pretty much route straight down to Wycombe.
Ground, hello, Benton request number 2.
I think I'm on 121.8 again instead of 122.8. Now I'm on 123.8. The VATSIM Unicom frequency. There we go. I keep doing that. Oops. So again, we're flying pretty much in a straight line now until we arrive at our next waypoint. So it's 3.2 miles to go to Studley. Our ground speed's 168 knots. And then from Studley we're going on to Home Farm Fields. From Home Farm Fields to Oxford, and then from Oxford we'll come all the way down to meet the M40 again. And we'll follow it to Wycombe Air Park pretty much the whole way. So the M42 that we passed before basically becomes the M40. But as I say, we can't use the M42 and the M40 as a visual reference the whole way, because that would take us into controlled airspace. So we need to stay to the right of that until we get past Stratford upon Avon, and then we can a little bit further past Stratford at Home Farm Fields we can turn towards Oxford. So I'm just going to have a look at our fuel. So we've used quite a bit out of the left hand tank, so I'm going to choose the right hand tank now for fuel. So we're going to do a little fuel switcheroo, so that we're now burning fuel from the right hand tank down to a similar amount, and then we'll look to switch when we get, if we get past that point by a little bit on the right hand side, then we'll switch back over to the left. Should be able to lean, I should have done this before, but I should lean the mixture off as well. Leaning the mixture doesn't really seem to be making any difference here. Maybe a little bit. Oh, yeah, that was too much. So we've leaned off a little bit. It hasn't really affected anything. I don't think that the mixture leaning is quite correctly correctly modelled there, because we basically leaned it all the way back to cut off and just got it back on in time. So we're still showing as burning 15 gallons per hour, and we're still hitting the same speed. So yeah, I think there's something to be done in the SR22 about the modelling of the mixture and the engine. Let's have a look and see what else has come online while we've been flying. So we still don't have any further air traffic control for our flight today. So we're approaching Farm Fields, which is EGBL. We can see it on the map ahead of us. I think it is. Maybe that's unless that's a different one. Oh no, it might be a different one actually. It might be Long Marsden. Yeah, that may be a different airfield than the one on our log. Yeah, it's EGBB that we have planned in. On the data on Flight Simulator leaves a lot to be desired as well. I need to sort out with the Navigraph getting the new flight data installed, so that there's a bit more to choose from, because there's very little to choose from at the moment in the nav data on the GPS. I mean, that doesn't really affect us too much doing VFR flights, but certainly for doing IFR it will make a big difference. So we're just coming overhead Home Farm Fields here, so that's going to be a turn now to 140 degrees, so let's make that turn. And now once we've made the turn, looking for some confirmation visually that we're in the right spot. So I should be able to see a railway line below us here. That looks like a railway line there, with the trees either side. I should think it is. And there should be a convergence of railway lines. Maybe a bit hard to see that. There's a little town there, that looks correct. Just a couple of little towns. Nothing major though. We're passing a road here which is the A429. That seems to be in the right place there. And then on the other side, so we just need to make a small adjustment to our heading. Just slightly drifting off course here. Bit of wind coming from our right hand side, bit of tailwind, but it's pushing us off. So it's just necessary for us to do a course correction. be slightly too much there. So our next important point is Oxford. So we'll be passing over Oxford Airfield. We have Enstone Airfield in 7 miles just on the left hand side, so we'll be looking out for that as a visual reference point. Lovely day. I mean, there's no clouds at all now, anywhere, just completely clear. I hope it's giving me the correct weather. It is live weather, it's set for live weather, so I'm hoping it is providing live weather. If I look out of my window here, it does look fairly similar, so I presume that's correct. Just moving ourselves a little bit further to the left, just double check the fuel quantities again. Using a bit of fuel from the right hand tank now. So after Oxford, we'll be looking towards our descent. I'll be using Sky Demon as a reference point for when to start descending. We'll be looking to descend all the way down from 5,000 feet to 1,000 feet. So I'm going to just have a look at the airfields now. So we want to look at Wycombe Air Park. Going to have a look at the weather forecast. It's currently showing 350 at 3 knots and a pressure of 1018. I'm going to have a quick look at the approach information. Uh, 350 did we say for the... So we're probably going to be looking at runway... Well, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference. We could kind of go either way. Probably 06 be our better option. So we're just about to approach Oxford now. So we're going to be turning to about 125 degrees. I'll just check the log for the correct track. It says 128, so we'll try that. 138 rather. Sorry, 125, so we'll try that. Can't see Oxford Airport because it's going to pass directly below us. And Oxford will be off to the right hand side, just slightly over there. there's a reservoir there, which I presume is that, which is exactly in the right spot now, so that's a good example for us for a reporting point. And we're going to turn now to 125. And we're pretty much on course now for Wycombe, with a little tailwind. And a bit of crosswind still. And close to point of starting to descend. Now, very important here that we're accurate with our navigation, because of the presence and closeness of airspace. You can see that if you can see on Sky Demon, there's one just below us and one just above us, so we have to kind of go between those two to get down. So my intention soon will be to start to descend slowly down towards 3,500 feet, and then once we've cleared the RAF Benson area, then we'll go down below that, just to make sure we don't infringe at all. So let's just tweak our heading again, and let's just change our altitude select down to 3,000. 500, and then we'll select vertical speed mode, and we'll go down to 500 feet per minute. So we're descending down to, and power down. We want to try and keep our speed the same. So it looks like runway 06 is what is in use. So we're going to make an approach runway 06. Join standard overhead. We need 1,000 feet for our join, which I think is 1520 on the current QNH. So I'm going to just have a look at that now. 1018. We'll just set that. I think that is what we're set to, so that's good. And at this rate of descent here, we are good to clear the RAF Benson area, which we're currently overhead, and then we can increase our rate of descent after that. In fact, we can increase our rate of descent a little bit now. Shame we can't put these visors down. Wonder what that is there. Won't pull the parachute. It's inoperable anyway. Oh, Charles Grove Airfield should be just over there. Yes, there it is. Excellent. For the good visual reference. And now we're pretty much on our way down to pop ourselves down to 1,000 feet. And vertical speed again. Let's get ourselves down to 1,000 feet quickly. And here's Wycombe, and we can see what is available for 06. So it's quite a tight pattern by the looks of it for 06 at 1,000 feet.
Put myself 423, one final runway 27 right. Heathrow traffic.
We are making approach, runway 6. Left hand standard overhead join. Now we need to join. We might be able to. Should we just make a right base approach? Let's just change this again. Cancel current approach. Make a right base. Yeah, I think we can do that. So I'm going to take off the autopilot. I'm going to reduce our speed. Keep us at 1,200 feet, and we're going to turn to intercept.
Heathrow traffic, Skyway 040, short final 27 left.
Flaps down. Don't want to descend too low. Now we should be able to see the airfield over there. We're going to turn to final.
Heathrow traffic, runway 27 right, locate with my support 23.
I think we're a little low here. And the airport doesn't appear to be there. Ah, yeah, we're very low, so we're going to go around. We'll fly the pattern again. So we found the airfield anyway, it's down there. It was a bit too much to suggest taking that right base, that left base approach rather. So we're going to go turn just before the town. Oh yeah, it's a trickier aircraft to deal with this. Just get our speed down again.
500.
I think we're too low here. I think we should be a lot higher. Problem is we've not got the airfield QNH setting, QFE setting, we've only got the QNH. We're going to slow down here, pop the flaps in. And then again we're trying to follow, there's some quite tricky pattern manoeuvres here just to make sure we don't overfly
500.
aeroplanes, parts of villages that are obviously noise sensitive. So we're pretty much correct on the pattern now. Let's go full flaps to land. Let's have a look if we can see the airport. We can, let's turn. Bit off, not bad. Oh, that was a tricky landing. Bit all over the shop there. But we're here at Wycombe Air Park. Maybe I should have done some touch and goes just to practice landing. So we'll taxi him. I'll just turn off my transponder. Strobes off. There's a lot of aeroplanes here, blimey, look at that. Be tricky trying to find somewhere to land. Park. Maybe that next one along there should be alright. How are we looking there? We're not far off, we kind of didn't quite get. I think that'll do. I'm going to stay there like that. I've arrived. So let's pop our parking brake on. Didn't do too badly with fuel there. Bring our mixture off. And avionics off. External lights off. Alternators off. And batteries off. So thank you very much for joining me here on the flight line for that interesting flight from Barton down here to beautiful Wycombe Air Park, and I hope to see you another day here in the sky.